So I'm a dentist from the US, and I work for a low-cost dental clinic in the US, so some of our biggest competition is Colombia and Mexico. And so I decided, let me check out my competition. So I booked a trip and went to both countries and visited the clinics, pretending that a family member or friend needed dental work so I could see how the clinics worked. And I was really surprised. I found out 4 different reasons why you might want to stay in the US versus going overseas. Number 1, time. This one shocked me. In Colombia, if you're getting veneers done, they want you there at least 10 days. Some clinics wanted you there over 2 weeks. Compare that to where the clinic I work at, they just want you there for 48 hours. I asked if during these 2 weeks, if my family member or I could leave and come back. And they said, no, we want you here the whole time because we might have to check on things, have you come to the clinic. And yes, so you're stuck in the city for at least 10 days. And these clinics in Mexico and Colombia, they're not in the most exciting places in the world. Literally, I was also a tourist as I was visiting, and within 24 hours, you had basically seen all the sites in that city. So for the next 9 days, you really have nothing to do. Maybe just watching TV and can be really boring. Whereas again, in the US, you could have it done in 48 hours. You're not wasting 2 weeks of precious vacation time. Number 2, financing. In both Colombia and Mexico, financing is not available. That means you have to pay the full amount by the time you leave. But most clinics in the US have financing. I mean, our clinic has both credit and non-credit financing. I mean, the worst case financing, if your credit score isn't that great, is you put 35% down and the rest you pay over like 2 years. And so it's a lot easier for people to be able to afford the veneers and other big procedures because they can finance it here in the US. Number 3, things are just so much easier in the US. You don't need to get a passport. You don't have a language barrier. You don't need different outlets. I mean, I thought I bought the right outlet converter and then it ended up not working. It was just really frustrated. I got lost so many times because the streets just mix up and you can't figure out where you're going. You have to exchange money. You don't, like, Uber. When I used Uber, I couldn't even get the Uber driver to come to me because I don't understand in Colombia, but they would call you and ask where you are, even though the app says exactly where you are. And since I didn't speak Spanish, they'd hang up and cancel the Uber ride. You know, I had to take a COVID test. And so all those things you just don't have to deal with if you're having it done in the US. And I forgot socks. I don't know how I forgot, but I just forgot to pack socks. So all I needed was socks. And to just try to find a place that sold socks was so difficult. And also because my feet are a little bit larger, size 13, it was like ridiculous. I couldn't find socks anywhere. I ended up having to buy socks that were way too small for my feet. And if I was just in the US, I could have just gone to Walmart and life would have been much easier. Also, my phone didn't work and I had to buy a SIM card, and the most frustrating thing was I was traveling to a few different cities and the first airport didn't have a SIM card, and so I went like the first 2 days with no SIM, which again was really frustrating. I could only use Wi-Fi because the roaming was super expensive. Whereas again, when I'm in the US, my phone works, I don't have to worry about everything, and life is so much easier. Number 4, going overseas might be actually more expensive. Now just hear me out. There's actually a lot of hidden fees you might not realize. For example, here at the Smile Mission, our porcelain veneers are just $5.50 and our composite are $3.50. When I went around in Mexico and Colombia, I did find clinics that were more affordable, but I was surprised that I thought they'd be considerably a lot lower in price, and they really weren't that much more affordable, especially when you consider the hidden fees. For example, you have to stay there 10 to 14 days. That's a lot more price you're paying on hotels and other expenses to just have to stay there. You're also giving up pay. Again, we do it in 48 hours. Here you're giving up pay for like 2 weeks. That's a lot of money you could be making at your job that you're not making because you have to take it off to have your teeth done. And don't forget, you have to pay for an international flight. That's gonna be more expensive. You have to pay international phone fees, exchange rate fees, other international fees. And all this stuff adds up to be a lot more expensive. And don't forget what happens if there's a complication. What happens if you have to do your treatment in 2 parts and go back in 3 to 4 months to have additional work done? All these things would add up to be a lot more if you're doing it overseas. So if you're considering going overseas, I would highly recommend at least give a try to an affordable US clinic. Here at the Smile Mission, we offer free consults. You have nothing to lose. Feel free to give us a call or message us if you'd like a free consult.